At the tone, say your name and then press the pound key. Thank you. You are currently the only person in this conference.
Kelly, thank you for forwarding me that.
Then we're asking about it. My friend, can I approach the bench, sir?
Get you, my gal. What's up?
How are you, brother?
How you doing?
Good, good to see you. How you doing, Mr. Brown?
Good, you?
Good, good.
Mayor, did you watch the replay of the community center meeting? None of us had.
No, I did.
None
I
of
tried
us
to
had.
know, but I didn't hear nothing, so I quit.
Not a bit of it got picked up. But, I mean, it's our own fault, so.
Are you real behind you all?
Randy said he'll be a little late.
Huh?
Randy's gonna be late.
Late? Who working?
Oh, man, we're so proud.
They done away with our meeting thing, you know, the governor didn't extend that. But you know, what's his name's got a bill that's got some restrictions on it that you can still do it. If it passes, I don't know if it'll pass or not.
I mean, we're at the point now where,
Made sense if you were on vacation, if you were out of town,
yeah, and I agree with that.
and that was one of the things. If you were out of the county, it dealt with city and county both. Still had to have a quorum here. You couldn't count, almost like we started. But if you were on vacation, which would make it good. And then it went on if you were called up in the National Guard, that counted too.
We started the. No.
Hey, make sure you turn your microphone on. Jeff? Councilman Griffiths? You tell him. Stephanie? Make sure you have your microphones on, please. All right, I call this meeting to order. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand. I'd like to ask Mr. Brown if he'd lead us in invocation. Miss Stephanie Wright to lead us in the praise of the flag.
Pray with me, please. Our Heavenly Father, we come to you once again with grateful hearts for a beautiful day. Thank you for the rain that we needed so bad. We wanted to keep in mind all the ones who have lost loved ones, especially the Pierce family and former council member Bobby Bedwell, who passed away this last week. Keep those families in our prayers and our thoughts and lift them up to you. But most of all, we give you thanks for your Son, Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for our sins. And we give you praise every day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't have it on the agenda, but I want to ask, since we do have a couple people in the audience tonight, is there anyone that wishes to address the council during this work session? Let me get Pam. Yeah.
Hi guys, sorry I couldn't make it last time. I just had allergy problems, but I just wanted to touch base with you guys, kind of let you know what we've been doing. I know I sent you annual reports. Hopefully everyone got them. I have extras with me tonight if anybody does need any. We have been promoting the Tennessee River Line heavily. I do think that's going to be a great asset for Roane County and especially Kingston. We're sponsoring the Bunch Marines Tennessee Team Trail. I think it's going to be held here in Kingston in May. I know retail is something that's top on your list, so just kind of want to give you an idea of some things we had done recently. We had promoted our Mastered What Matters on LinkedIn and Google Ads, social media, even YouTube, to promote kind of our current businesses, kind of that we're open for business. We have testimonials from some of our industries and business leaders, and so we promoted that to some of the states that we know are looking at Tennessee, New York, New Jersey, California is one of those. It's kind of new on the radar. So it did really, really well in the winter, so we're gonna continue to do some more ads through the summer. And one thing that I think might be helpful, because we have a lot of efforts that are going on, but I know you guys don't always know what we're doing, so I'm going to start using our blog kind of as a platform to let you guys know what's going on, but also I think that will help reach people outside the community to see that we are doing these efforts and that we do want business, that we are open for business, I guess what you could say. So I think it'll help both ways. So I do want to do that. We have the blog already. It's called myronecounty.com. We blog about tourism things. I think the last thing I talked about was the kayakers that were here doing the 652 a week or so ago. So I want to do more of those things, but just wanted you guys to know too, we've done about 3 ribbon cuttings lately. One bank, One Step Closer, First Choice Lending Services. Those are all chamber members, but if there is a business in Kingston that you guys know about that's going to do a ribbon cutting that's new, we may not know about it if they're not chamber members, but we are more than willing to come. We're more than willing to help. I mean, if it's just getting people there, we'll be glad to help. They do not have to be a chamber member. That's another thing that we wanted to do before COVID was to make that more inclusive to non-members, but with the pandemic, that kind of stopped everything. We didn't have any ribbon cuttings or any events. So just wanted you guys to know, let us know about them. We'll be there. Cisco Family Dentistry is the business of the month for May. We celebrated with them this morning. You'll start seeing that on social media. We had 2 other business of the months in Kingston in the last, I guess this winter, and then Alti Step Salon celebrated 10 years of business. So we know that, retail recruiting's tough because they'll a lot of times vet you before you even know they are looking and they're on to something else. But we know that too, if we promote Roane County effectively and we promote our cities and our businesses that are here and we help our existing businesses, that just makes them see that we are business friendly. And so I do think that will help, since a lot of times they don't knock on our door and say, we're thinking about coming here, how can you help us? They don't. They go by the numbers, they go by rooftops, they go by traffic, and they'll eliminate you before you even know that they were looking. So we're trying our best to figure out how to get the word out, but know who to get the word to, because we don't know what retailers really yet are looking, and now that the pandemic's over. So just wanted you guys to know we're here to help, anything you need us to do. So, and I don't think I said my name, but I'm Pam May. I know y'all know me, but
All right, thank you, Pam. Is there anyone else? Okay. We'll go to the first thing on the agenda, discussion, continued discussion of the ball field lighting improvements. We can discuss it, but I'm ready to. We need to put it out for bids. I think that's where we're at this point. I think we've discussed it long enough. I think we need to put it out for bids. I reached out to Mr. Kolsky because he was involved in some lighting with the Grove, and got a quote back of what he got from them, which was, I thought, a lot cheaper than what we were going to. But I think we can do it. We can still have a discussion, but I'm ready to put it out for bid right now and get this done. And so I'll put it to you, Ms. Humphrey, since you had it added to the agenda.
Well, that was actually what I wanted to bring up if we want to do that. I know we've been talking about ball field lights for months, and that's why it was included in the train thing, and I guess that's why I was a little upset from the Roane County News article that kind of alluded to the fact that we're buying Christmas lights instead of ball field lights. I don't think anybody on this council ever intended to do that, since we've been talking about ball field lights for months, and we did include it in the train deal. But it's come to the point that we're talking about whether we should wait around to see if the train deal's feasible, or we should just go to Plan B. And it sounds like you're ready to go to Plan B.
personally, yes, I am. I don't know how long we can wait on train.
Yeah, it could be, in 2 months, it could be a year. I mean, we don't know what their process is gonna be and what the end result's gonna be. So,
And one other thing, I'm sorry, one other thing I did want to mention, I talked with David earlier this week and we were talking about, he said that the legislature had cut in half what the money that we're going to get, and we'll get what, 80,000, is that what you're saying? So it's kind of up to council whether you would want to earmark that towards it, or you would want to just get a loan for the whole thing.
Well, I think it just depends on what they say we can spend it on.
Evidently, they've lifted some of the restrictions, is that right?
Yeah, on this particular allocation, they cut, the bad news is they cut it in half. We were supposed to get 160,000. It's what the governor proposed. The legislature cut it to 80,000. Good news is they pretty much took the strings off of it. So you don't have to apply, you don't have to meet certain criteria. It's basically gonna be like the first round of money we got, where it's pretty much at our discretion. So that does give us more flexibility. Again, it's less money, but they got an email the other day that did confirm it, a little over 80,000, but 80,000 and some change, so.
And we're still planning on putting lights on both ball fields.
Put lights wherever y'all wanna put them, but yeah, we need 'em.
Mr. Mayor, from the RU point of it, they said that we need to go ahead and do, if we're gonna do that out there, that we need to do the track and both ball fields at the same time, get it all in the same situation. Cause if we don't, 5 years down the road, we're gonna be running into issues, cause we don't have lights down there, and we're having all kinds of issues out of the ones at the track too. And we might wanna look at getting bids on doing both ball fields, the whole area there. That way we'd have,
Yeah, I think we do it I think we do it all we can. I plan on asking for some money from other government entities to help with it, sending letters.
One thing I'd recommend, and I agree, I mean, I think definitely get it out to bid, see what's out there. One thing, I mean, obviously, we're gonna have to spec it out to have something to base the bids on, and one thing if council's agreeable, I'm sure you would be, is for us to reach out, probably through REU, to TVA to see. I know that lighting studies were done down there in the past. Obviously, when they were done, it wasn't based on LED lighting. So, TVA did one through RU, didn't cost us anything when we did Porter Park. And, they'll come in, do the lighting study. Here's how many lights you need. Here's where they need to be. So we know what we're dealing with. So I'd like to reach out and you can help me. Because I'd say the requests have to come from the utility.
Yeah.
But if we could get TVA to come in and do that lighting study, that's something we wouldn't have to pay for. And that would definitely be helpful to us in putting together bid specs on it. So if y'all are in agreement, then we can get that part rolling, and then once we have that, then we can build the bids. And
Yeah, I would
once we get
think,
a dollar amount, then we can check on, like you said, the other ones on trying to get.
so, I mean, that's, I wanna get this done as quick as we can, of course.
yeah.
And Mayor, I would like to say something. I know we have a school board member here. It looks like the discussion of a new school is back on the table again, and it looks like there's a little bit different this time. They may be looking to rebuild the high school on the same site. If that happens, there's not going to be any new site, new fields.
Right.
So this is something that if, I know our last agreement on ball fields and use of facilities was done in the 70s. If they decide to rebuild the school on the same site, if they decide to build a school, that's something that we may need to look into again. A joint use agreement, or I'm not really sure.
So, and if, you got anything? Go ahead.
When we put this out to bid, or I thought maybe we'd start with an RFP maybe, but either way, we're gonna have to have it spec'd, and I would make a strong suggestion that sounds good, going to include the track lights too, but I think we need to put them in as alternates, so that if we look and see how much money we've got, then you decide which lights are the worst to get fixed. You don't have, if you've got all the money in the world, you get those fixed, you go out and you fix Bird Field lights, because you're gonna have the same problem with those. You're leaving out Bird Field. The only good lights we've got are out here at Gertrude Porter Park.
Right.
So you're gonna have the same problems out there. To see how much we're gonna spend, cause the softball field is gonna cost less than the baseball field. The baseball field is gonna cost the most because you're gonna have larger poles to do all that with. You know, you're gonna have 70-something foot, 75 or 80-foot poles. Softball field won't need that much. Just to fill you in from what happened the last time we were here, they got the softball lights, the 2 banks of lights fixed. They were working the other night and they played later. Wasn't ideal, still had shadows on it. And since she's brought up about the school system, you know, this is, I don't know if y'all realize this or not, but there's only one school that has their own lights, has their own ball fields. Everybody else borrows. And Midway is the only one. And the school board bought the lights about 10 years ago and put them in at Midway because Midway asked for it. That was when Mr. Massengill was on the school board. But Oliver Springs, softball, baseball, all play on city facility in Oliver Springs. Rockwood, all play both the softball at Brickyard and at the Mike Burrow Miller Park. And then in Harriman, that's leased by the city, belongs to the railroad, everything over there. So they could lose theirs at any time. And then, of course, the school uses our track. They use our other facilities too. So, you know, it may be that we partnership. I was at the ball field all day Saturday, and congratulations to the Cherokee Middle School for winning the championship. It was hot. I got sunburned, but I sat behind home plate and listened to people talk. And I just want to set it straight now that evidently they've all heard about these lights that were in Georgia and why we didn't buy those lights down there. The city manager sent our city electrician and Chase down to look at these lights. They look good on Facebook. There was 170 of them. I don't think they sold them because the minimum bid was $5,000. There was only 2 bids, and that was by the same person who was offering $2,500. They looked good, they sounded good, and we were ready to chomp at the bits till we got down there and looked at them and had conference calls while they were there and met with the maintenance person at the minor league park. They were 20 years old. They were made by GE. GE does not make bulbs anymore. So as soon as we got them up and bought the first bulb, we would have to save 50 or 60 of those lights just to fix what we had. So we just didn't think it was a good deal. But boy, they look good.
They look good on the web, didn't they?
They look
Mayor,
good.
if I can just say something real quick right here. The proposal that I provided you, keep in mind, I heard the city manager right here, we gotta get TVA to come in and do a lighting study. If you'll look at that proposal, there's contractors out here that's building these baseball fields. I'm firsthand dealing with these guys, and they've already done these studies based on the size of baseball fields. So I like that TVA, I know TVA come down and did the Kingston High School football field and did a study and placed the lights and stuff. But all of that kind of engineering and stuff has been done on these size fields. I mean, we're pricing out a 350-foot center field. It can play college ball, and we're gonna place it out there at the Grove. We already know what kind of lighting is required there. And these contractors, they're all in agreement. I'm working on my 3rd bid of getting this brand new field built. So, and then also in that bid, I think it was $180 some odd thousand dollars. That's included running all the underground utilities. We've already got them there. And I've been talking to various people at Rockwood Electric. We've already got the electrics there. And if you're going to LED lighting right there, that's pulling less wattage than the existing bulbs there. I think these are capacitor-driven bulbs that's out there, I know, on the baseball field, that you can't even buy those bulbs anymore. And that's what the problem is. We can't get them anymore. So that bid could be even less. And keep in mind, that's a third-party bid. That's from a baseball field contractor that give me that. If we go directly to an electrical contractor, it's gonna be even less.
Yeah, that's what
You know,
that's
or
what we
maybe
want to go out there and
we
get
can
find
figure
out.
Where we buy the poles and the lights ourselves, and we get our
Are you-
contacts with Rockwood Electric and cut a deal with that. I know for a fact that the football field, that they put new lighting on there and didn't have the money, and Rockwood Electric allowed them to pay extra on their electric bill to pay for that lighting.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of options right
Well,
there.
they done away with that now,
Yeah,
though.
they
You
don't-
remember
Yeah,
that?
but they've done away with that.
And I know they did
Yeah.
away with it. They did away with that because TVA did away with the heat pump
Yeah.
and the buyback program, but there's nothing wrong and you could possibly strike some kind of deal, I don't know. But that's just some food for thought.
We could try, and I think our RU representative is,
Do what now?
I think you've already kind of went down that
Yeah,
road, so.
we working on it.
Yeah, we've been down that road. But I think we'll just reach out to a few of the contractors and have them come look at it and see.
Yeah.
I mean, we can, and if we can avoid, and that, he raised a good point, if a ball field, I guess a ball field of a certain size is a ball field of a certain size, so, it may be that we don't have to get a lighting study, and that's less time, but you're right, we can get people to come out, and there's no shortage of people that could come out and give us a proposal, and then from those, we could, we can build a bid package and get it out to bid, but, we'll do whatever you wanna do on it.
Yeah, well, let's just start, yeah.
Mayor, one more thing. Have you guys reached out to the Century Club?
Mhm.
I've expressed my concern to the Century Club, and, I know they do a lot for the football, and they completely redid their fields, and they all, they buy all their uniforms and stuff like that, but even Cherokee's using that field out there at Southwest Point, including, that's the high school baseball field.
Yeah.
Even though it's a city field right there, I think that's another good resource right there to tap into.
We've got several.
For some fun, so I think we could possibly team with multiple people, whether it's the city or, going to REU and then maybe the Century Club. I think we got a winning combination there.
Well, it's gonna happen.
Good.
And it's not impossible that we couldn't find, if there's another city that bid out lighting on a field the same size that, we might be close enough to piggyback. I don't know, but I'd say the first step is to have some people come in and give us proposals, and then we can bring those back to you next month and decide where we go from there, if you want us to do that.
Okay.
Can we check with the one that done the Grove also? That
Oh,
He's
yeah,
working
the
with?
more the merrier, I think.
Yeah, I've got that email somewhere that Eddie sent me. I'll send it to you.
Mayor, we have another one as well, Geo Services. He's preparing another quote right now, so I'll make sure you're armed with that, and I'm gonna have a third one.
Okay.
So I think it'd be good if we get 2 or 3 bids. And
Oh,
put
yeah,
them
we
on.
will. That's what we'll have to
Yeah,
do.
that's what, yeah.
All right. Any other questions on the ball field lines? Okay. All right.
You want us to plan on bringing those back to you next month? Is that next month's workshop? I mean, I don't.
Yeah. Do we need to vote on that Tuesday night, or we just?
No,
Yeah, okay.
not to get
Okay.
quotes. I mean, you would have to vote to go out to bid on it.
Of course. Okay.
so-
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
All right, item 4 is discussion of applying for a 2021 Tennessee Department of Tourism Development Tourism Enhancement Matching Grant. Councilmember Wright.
Unfortunately, I had a phone call from the state this week stating that TD, not ETDD, has pulled this program. They've done this program for many, many years, and they did not fund it this year. So I'm going to have to find a different source of funding and bring this back at a different time.
Okay. All right, then we'll go to number 5. Update on the community center roofing project. Stuff falling apart everywhere.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to give you a couple of quick updates on this. You may have seen some of these emails, but the bids have been put out, are out now. We'll have a pre-bid meeting next Wednesday, the 12th at 10 o'clock at the community center. Mandatory pre-bid meeting, so if any of you have an interest, want to come to that. And then the bids will be open on the 19th at 2 o'clock. The bids, so we did write language in there where the bids can't be withdrawn for 90 days. So that'll give us time to bring those to you and figure out what we want to do, how we're going to pay for it, that sort of thing. It may be that is a conversation we want to have in conjunction with talking about funding ball field lights, if we're looking at funding options. But anyway, once we get those open, we will have 90 days.
Okay.
That those will be standing, and hopefully we'll get some good bids in on that. So
What time was that? Pre-bid?
Pre-bid will be at 10 o'clock at the community center. The bids will be open at 2 o'clock here.
Okay.
Is that all you have to? Okay. All right, item 6 is discussion of ordinance 2105-1101, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Kingston, Tennessee for fiscal year 2020-21. Our financial director, Michelle Kelly.
As y'all know, in your packet, we had put a memo in stating that I was basically doing some housekeeping to some of our, restricted and assigned accounts. These are accounts that had money set aside for a year or more, and we're just basically, allowing those different departments to spend that money that they have, so we're just putting it in, taking it out of the restricted fund and putting it into their expenditure, cause each department has a certain use that they can use that money on. And then, the $32,000 that you all allocated for the study for the community center roof, I just needed you all to vote on that so I can actually physically move that money, because until it's amended, I cannot. And then, the remainder of it was, just to do some housekeeping on our debt service fund, because we did have, we paid off the sidearm tractor, and some of those loans have variable rates, so we may actually come back in June with one on a couple of the others, but I'm trying to keep these really clean instead of just giving you all like the entire budget and say this is what we're amending. I want y'all to know what we're amending and why. So, is there any questions?
If I was just gonna point out, and you, Mitch, you see this in my memo, we've had these reserve accounts, if you will, set up for different departments if they have a fundraiser or they have something like that, and that money has to be put somewhere, but to spend it, it has to be in the budget as an expenditure and a revenue, and we're trying to get them out of the habit that been in years past of carrying that money forward. If you get money in a fiscal year, you need to, if at all possible, spend it.
Right.
So that's what we're during that fiscal year. So that's what some of these are doing, and they're all going to good uses. And I just want to applaud Michelle and her staff. One of the things that council talked about, I guess last year, was wanting to get away from the big pages long budget amendments that you got at the end of every fiscal year, and that's not to say that from time to time there won't be something that needs an amendment, but we've tried to address those throughout the year, working with the departments to try to handle those as they come up. So and they've done a great job at that. So,
Is there any other questions about that? All right, speaking of budgets, the next one is discussion of setting a time for a workshop to review the proposed 21-22 budget. Mr. Bowley.
So you got your budget. Hopefully everybody got their budget books. We had them hand delivered on Friday, so I haven't heard from anybody if you didn't get yours. And we'll have an electronic copy to send out if you haven't gotten that. But we do need to set up a time. Obviously, at your discretion when you want to do that. We're ready. We just need a little bit of notice to get things ready. But ideally, whether you want to do, I would assume, both readings in June, unless you want to get really ambitious and try to do the first reading next week. But that's y'all's call to make. We're ready whenever you are. We just want to know when you want to get together to go over it. So.
Has anybody got any suggestions?
I will be out of town May 29th through June 6th. So I may not even be here for first reading. Actually, I will. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you will.
I won't be here for workshop. I'll be here for regular council.
Is this something we're gonna try to do like before a workshop, like was mentioned before, or are we gonna do it like we did last year and have it a morning till afternoon meeting?
I'd like to do that, but right now there's no way I can get freed up. How about next Thursday night, the 13th? I think Miss Stockton should be back in town by then.
She won't be back on Tuesday?
I don't know if she will or not.
How long are we talking? How many?
It's up to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
5 minutes, 5 hours, whatever
Okay.
you need.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know, like you said, we used to do it. It used to be an all-day thing, and then it's not anymore. So,
I think we've kind of reduced a little bit how it's been done. I don't think we're gonna have a long agenda next Tuesday night. You know, just plan on doing it after the council meeting next Tuesday night.
after or before?
Well, we could, if everybody could be here at 5.
Oh, wait. What's today's date?
4?
Okay, there's a lot of graduation stuff in the next 2 weeks, so, for RCHS, so I just wanna make sure.
Shouldn't be anything on Tuesday night, though, should it?
No,
So let's plan, after the council meeting on
After.
Tuesday night, and we can do the budget. That's okay, because we all should be here. There shouldn't be any issues.
okay.
And if it goes longer than an hour or two, then we'll come back and do it again. Okay?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, so I'll go around and see if anybody's got anything else for the work session. Mr. Griffiths, do you have anything?
No.
Ms. Wright, do you have anything?
I do. David and I met the other day. We finally, and he may have already mentioned this, we did receive the grant agreement from the federal government for a build grant for the bridge-to-bridge planning project. Once we have the grant agreement completed and turned in, they're telling us it's another 2 to 3 month turnaround. So hopefully by the time we come to our 1 year anniversary of us being awarded this grant, we can actually start to work on it. So I just want to give you an update on that. Center Farms, the new homes out there, they got their bond issue, and hopefully they'll start building some new homes out there soon. On May 22nd, Tennessee Riverline and our local Riverline group will be having a paddle orientation at Roane County Park, basically teaching people to paddle who have never paddled before, safety procedures and things of that sort. And then hopefully on June 26th, there will be another paddle event that will take place. The route will hopefully be from Whitestone to Riley Creek. And that's all I have.
Mr. Brown, do you have anything?
The 2 committees that you've appointed me to have got minutes. They're lengthy. We're gonna go through and see what you really want to read, unless you want to read them all, but gave those to Kelly, so the packet will be big, but it's just a lot of information. Since we do have a school board member here, you know, this is Teacher Appreciation Week. Even though I don't have any kids in school, I had one that went through the Roane County High School system, and he's doing well and fixing to graduate with his master's. And I just want to say thank you. If you'll pass it on to the teachers, and you too, since you're a professor at Roane State, just want to say appreciation to all the teachers that make Kingston what it is. And if the Miss Chamber lady will get with Chase Clem, I think he's got a bill for you for the fireworks for your donation. We're still a little bit short, but we know that you're going to give $10,000. That's going to put us over the hump. And if you'll see Chase immediately after this, he'll get you an invoice.
I already asked you for it, so.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Mr. Childs, you have anything? Ms. Humphries?
Well, as he mentioned, the 4th, we're still doing donations. We had a meeting last week about the 4th with the city manager and fire and police chief and everybody in Park and Rec. And it looks like everything's a go. We are still raising funds. We've got like $30,000 raised to this point. And we are tentatively planning a roadblock for June the 4th from 3 o'clock till probably around 6.
Is it on Friday?
That was Friday, yes.
Anything else?
Nope.
Mr. Bowling, do you have anything?
No, I don't think I do. Nothing that we haven't gone over. I'm sure I'll think of something later, but I'll send you a nice lengthy email if I do. But no, I don't have anything.
Well, if there's nothing else, then this meeting's adjourned. Don't try to sit down. I'm moving. I will.